Welcome back to Demon Classes. Today I'm going to talk about list versus tuples in Python. In this, I'll walk you through a detailed conceptual difference between them with some practical examples. In this video, I'll talk about the following differences: syntax, mutable versus immutable, available operations, size comparison, hashing, and usage of list and tuples. The very first and basic difference is, of course, syntax. In Python, we can define a list using a square bracket. I'm defining a list having 4 elements inside the square bracket, and if I check the type of this variable, it will show me that it's a list. The same can be done with tuple, and tuple are defined using parentheses. So this is a tuple having 4 elements in it, and if I check the same with the type function, it will show me that this variable is an object of class type tuple. One of the most important difference between list and tuple is that lists are mutable but tuples are immutable. This means that contents of the list can be changed but not in tuples. Due to this fact, tuples have fixed length but new elements can be added in the list, and hence its length can be changed. Now for example, if I want to update the first element of list to 100, then it can be easily done like this. And if I check what the contents of list, it shows that first element has been updated. Now the same is impossible in a tuple. It throws a type error. Now there is much more to this concept. Since both list and tuples can store heterogeneous data structure, they actually store the memory address of the element if the element is a non-primitive data types. This means that if we store a list inside a tuple and try to change list, then it is possible even though list is a part of tuple. This is very important concept to understand from Python interview question point of view. Now let me show you the same through an example. Now let me define a tuple having list as its first element and all the subsequent element would be integers. This tuple has 4 elements, and the first element is the list having 4 elements of itself. Now we can access the third element of the list like this, which is 3. Now if I want to update any of the element of a tuple, as I showed, this is not possible. If I want to assign a random number to the first element of the tuple, it says it is type error. But if I want to do the same with the existing list at the first position and to any of its element, so instead of 3, I'm going to store there this number. Now if I check the tuple, the element has been updated. This proves that tuple itself doesn't store the non-primitive data structures in it. Instead, it stores the memory address of the non-primitive data structure. Due to that reason, it is possible to change the non-primitive data structure itself. Lists and tuples also differ in terms of the available operations associated with them. You can check the available operations using help function. Now, if I have a list and we can use the operations which exist on this list using help function, it shows we have all these operations which can be done on that list. One of the operation which I have already showed you is append, which appends new data in the list. Now we can check the same with the tuple. Since we cannot change the tuple itself, it has a very limited operation, just two, which is count and index. List and tuple also differ in size comparison. This is because list supports a lot of functionality than a tuple, and hence, in order to support those operations in a more optimized manner, it over-allocates some memory. Therefore, it has more memory overhead than a tuple. I have already defined a list having 1, 2, 3, 4 as its elements, and I can also define a tuple having same elements. Now we can check the size using size of function, and we can check the same with tuple. Now the tuple uses clearly lesser memory than list. Tuples are hashable and lists are not. Due to this fact, they can be used as a key in a dictionary and lists cannot. Lists are not hashable, but tuples are. Due to this fact, this tuple can easily be used as a key in a dictionary. For example, if I want to use this tuple as a key, I can easily do this, but I cannot use list as a key in a dictionary. Usages of list and tuples. Use tuple where you need to define a constant set of values in an array. Tuples are faster than lists in terms of iteration over a very large array. Sometimes we need to use arrays as key in a dictionary. In that case, we can use tuple instead of list. Thank you.